Good morning, YouTube. Fisker continues to fist it to their customers. Just really,
I don't think you could say that.
Oh, like they're punching them. That's what I meant.
Oh, okay, yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
So they filed for bankruptcy.
Right.
Game over for them. They hadn't been producing cars for a very long time,
Right.
and Fisker owners are wondering what the heck they're going to do. First, there's the people that bought them new. They paid $40,000, $50,000 or more for them. They're now worth maybe 20. Yeah, 4 recent Fisker Ocean sales in 2024. The most recent one bid to $23,500 and no sales.
Did not sell.
Another one in July, $25,000 sold.
Right.
So, yeah, that seems to
For
be the number.
25?
Yeah, 25.
Stop.
Yes, not 45, 25. So, yes.
It's such a cool car to go for that.
Well, here's the thing.
Right.
Fisker owners have no idea how they're going to keep their cars on the road.
No.
Before, Fisker was cannibalizing their parts cars, their concept cars or whatever to keep customer cars going because there was no parts in the supply chain to fix them.
Right.
Now that that's all gone, it's not just the parts now, but they have no access to the software to fix them. Any bugs now are not going to be fixed by engineers at Fisker because they're all gone. It's evaporated. It's gone.
This is so bad. It's literally a nightmare. Like you're just burning the money that you spent on your Fisker.
Right. So it could brick at some point, or the current flaws are just flaws you're going to have to live with, unless they make the software open source, all the programming, all the data, which so far automakers have been very, 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 very reluctant to do.
Well, why don't they want? Is there like some code that they don't want someone to copy and just some?
Yeah, because it's sort of an IP as far as all the latest software to make these EVs go and work and everything. They don't want that to become like
public
easily
knowledge,
for someone to copy paste and make their own car or whatever. But still, in this case. You got to give it to people so that they can diagnose and repair, and they need to replace a module. They can find a used one, a wrecked one, or they buy 2 Fiskers, keep one going, which would be insane. Like
it's crazy. I just imagine like even your iPhone, which you use every day, a car you use every day, and just the software update and it locks up and it freezes on you. What are you going to do? Like you can't. There's nowhere else that you can go.
So yeah, that is what the owners of Fiskers want. They're sort of banded together sort of for one very legitimate case of right to repair, which has been an issue for a long time now. I'd say going on a decade or more as cars have gotten more complicated and fixes have gotten behind software walls, basically, to where I can't do this because I can't code it. I ran into it with my Bentley Continental GT, getting an airbag module, which is a generic Audi Volkswagen part. Sent it to a couple of people. They could not program this generic module. I had to buy it from Bentley and pay it was $2,000 for a module that's $50 in the exact same car with the same plug-in, same everything, because they have the software code, which is just robbery.
This is going to kill any EV startup as far as people being nervous about jumping on board with any sort of new brand. And it's going to keep the old school brands that we know very well here in America just in business, and no one's going to be able to jump in. So I don't know, are the big top car companies liking this? Because then people are going to be loyal to brands that they know are going to stick around.
That's the thing, because Ford, Chevy, all of them are building these roadblocks for people to be able to repair their own cars. So I kind of feel like with that Cadillac Lyriq that we purchased, we don't really own that car. Like at any moment, GM could just flick it off and
that's scary.
Well, turn it off or do a weird software update that bricks the thing, or say there's some fatal flaw that an independent could fix or come up with. There's going to be no aftermarket for this sport. Like Cadillac is going to keep a chokehold on these things to where there's no cheap way to fix it.
Or if you do want the software update, now you have to pay $500 for it, which is literally a nightmare.
So you are a slave to Cadillac by buying this car. Basically, it's like a subscription where you're paying for the maintenance, you're paying for the updates, which now it is with video games where you don't buy the discs anymore, you buy the game, and if you want the expansion pack, you want to buy Robux, all that stuff. It's the same thing, except now in cars.
Right.
And it is pretty scary. So with Fisker, though, they are selling the software and all that stuff to the people who bought the remaining 3,600 cars, I believe it was.
Okay.
According to this article, Fisker's remaining inventory of 3,321 Oceans were sold for $46.25 million to America Lease, a New York-based rideshare vehicle leasing company.
Okay.
So they bought up the remaining Fiskers. So you do the math. That's
so a business
$46.25 million divided by 3,321. They got it for $13,900,
Whoa.
$13,900 per Fisker.
Whoa.
And what they're going to do with it, I don't know.
Well,
It'll
you
be
said
very
ride
interesting.
share, so turning it into something like that.
Are they going to be like an Uber with
Right.
these? They can't make them obviously autonomous, but do they own or they lease it to people for
Or
the rideshare style?
possibly like Turo and start up their own Turo type of company, which is fantastic. Turo is much better than Uber at an airport.
Yeah, I agree as far as getting the car, but I don't know what they're going to do, but they'll be all over New York City apparently.
Right. So this company is allowed to have the software, but individual people, individual hardworking people are not allowed to have this software.
That's the thing. Does this rideshare group, American Lease, let them have it? Just let them have access to be able to repair, to be able to code new modules. Do they help with sourcing parts and maintenance? Are they going to be magnanimous about it, or are they going to be like, I don't know.
I just like that you said magnanimous. Is that really a word?
I think so.
Okay.
It came deep from my brain.
No, it's scary, and it makes me think like, and I'm just being paranoid, but that all of a sudden the government is going to be able to control your car. They're going to be able to control your speed limit, where you can drive, if you can't drive past a curfew, and they're just going to have so much control over these cars, and it makes me nervous. And like, I don't know, 15 years from now, what that landscape's going to look like.
How desperate is it that they're making these for basically taxis, like discontinued car, where your options now are so terrible, where you don't have the Ford Crown Victoria.
Right.
And as people get more paranoid, like April just said, they're going to be taking over and tell us we can't drive past 11 o'clock. Whatever. What if someone decided, like, okay, I'll make the Ford Crown Victoria again, and it's going to be a very bare bones electronically vehicle,
right?
But it goes down the road. I mean, for fleets, for taxis, for police cars, because now the Dodge Charger is gone. So the last of the Charger Pursuits are being sold, just like the Crown Victoria 15 years ago was retired.
Right.
Now the only option left for cars is the Charger. Gone. So now police will all be in SUVs, but
some of them have the Cybertruck.
Yeah, what fleet vehicle that's car-based is left? And it's none.
No.
So whoever wants to come, like, I guess Checker came around in the 60s and 70s, had the Marathon where they made it only for taxis and fleets and then sold them some civilian. There's an opening there.
Know all this.
There's an opening.
Of taxis.
I think there's an opening for an analog fleet-based car that's bare bones, that also, the people that, have a bunker in their backyard that are worried about, the tinfoil hat stuff, like April just was sort of pontificating.
There you go. It's a lot of syllables.
That they were pontificating.
But old school analog cars, you want to bring back, and I get it. And I get that it is scary to think of the future and what the government's going to do with our cars. What are they going to do?
Do I have to talk anymore? It's getting really hard. So I have my Fisker.
But it's not here.
The Karma with a K.
Where is it?
It is still sitting at the Car Wizards because I needed to text the Fisker Philly. He is the Fisker guru for that generation Karma, the first generation that is the Chevy drivetrain-based hybrid. And ship it to him in Philadelphia to have him go through it and make the car work, because similar issues to current Fisker. Blower motor doesn't work. No heat, no AC. He put a blower motor in the Car Wizard. It did not fire up. It's something in the software, the wire. There's no information on how to fix this stupid thing. So it's parked outside, beautiful Henrik Fisker design, one of the most beautiful sedans made in the last decade, just sitting outside rotting because I didn't want to spend the money to ship it, to get it fixed. First I'm going to pay $1,200 shipping to get it to the one guy basically in the world that can fix it. And then he's going to tell me, I'm the one guy in the world that can fix it, so it's going to be... but
I don't blame him.
He seems like a nice guy, though. I don't think he'd do that, but still, he has me over a barrel, obviously. And he does Tesla battery conversions, so the batteries failed. Thankfully, mine are fine. Just he's the guy with parts cars. He's the guy who's figured it out. Right. And somebody will be the Fisker Ocean guy, I suppose. But I've just been reluctant because I didn't want to get sent out there and with the house stuff just kicking my butt money-wise. It was like, well, we can sort of put the slow play on some stuff. Yeah. And now that the mortgage is done, actually, and I just got the money out of the mortgage and stuff, I can now send it off. So that's your decision, is you are going to send it off. What does Wizard think you should do with it? Send it off and get it away from his shop, because he hates looking at it. Like, it's one of those like, I'm going to retire. His Wizard looks at these cars and thinks, I cannot fix this. Like, I do not have the computer the
Right.
ability to fix this.
Of course.
And I don't really want to learn anyway. So I'm just
Well, because there's
like,
not
he's
a
gonna hang it
lot.
up.
He's not going to like be making money off of a business of repairing them because you're the only person
No.
in Kansas, I bet, that has that generation Fisker.
Probably. So yeah, that's why he says within 5 years, like I'm done. I'm gonna
Right.
get a boat somewhere or a ski condo or something. Even though he doesn't ski, but he wants to live in the mountains. And interesting,
Right.
and just rent the buildings and just not have to deal with it.
You could also, perhaps drive it along some water, like that one Cybertruck drove along the ocean. And
Oh yes,
sort of
and burned to the ground. Yeah, I was
on
thinking more of
fire.
like the Bugatti owner that got tired of his Bugatti or needed some money and drove it. He's like pretending they saw a seagull and drove it into the ocean. But no, that would not do it. We'll get it fixed.
Or there's no oceans here in Kansas, so just got swept up in a tornado.
I suppose. But speaking of hoopties, April, you sold your house and
Yes.
the Lincoln Silver Rose Metallic with the blown trans has been that's much easier to fix. There's a bunch of shops that need to.
We need to get on that because she needs to get out.
I'll get on my Karma and you get on your Lincoln.
I'm done.
And then we'll get on each other. Thank you so much for watching.